Let's all grab a seat. I'm still trying to. I said that. No, Jeff didn't want to do this. We're good. We're good. How we doing on the ladies coming up? I want to be sensitive to the sisters. Are they all here? Is anybody still waiting? Is anybody waiting for their spouse or co-worker?
Ashley's waiting on his spouse.
All right. So here we go. I hope you had a great prayer time. It is great to pray together. I just want to start off by just saying, the last couple, 2-3 years we've been coming, we built a special bond with Meech and Daisy. Not having them here, we text all the time. We had them come up to speak. We went down. I am so grateful for these meetings. I just want to say that. I was born in Brooklyn, so I grew up, can you believe this, as a Jet fan. Joe Willie was my quarterback then, and then we went from him to Tom Brady, so I'll leave it at that. But anyway, Maria unfortunately got sick, could not make it, so this class will be less than half as good as a result. I also want to be clear, so you don't think I'm using up all the time, and Javier's, Javier is going to be responding to this lesson here that I'm going to be doing, and so with that, the title of it is Strategic, is it on there?
Yeah.
Strategic Leadership to Effectively Grow a Church or Region. That's too long for me to really talk about, but the whole term strategic, it's a carefully designed plan to serve a particular purpose or advantage. The biblical term that's really used for, having a strategy in the Bible is plans. You look at all the scriptures on plans.
Right.
And, one thing you got to remember is that, it's not a corporation. Right. It's God's church. Right. It's God's people. And you want God working on your behalf. You want to be able to believe. And you know what? Having plans to me is like having faith. That's why you're coming up with plans. You're wanting to improve and grow God's kingdom. Proverbs 16:3, commit to the Lord whatever you will do, and He will establish your plans. He'll make them even better. Plans fail for lack of counsel, but with many advisors they succeed. I think a lot of times we hear that verse there and we think of getting input from those that are over us. But I'm going to be talking about getting input from those that are with us. Okay? That's one of the most, I think, biggest things we fail at. And then Proverbs 16:9, in a man's heart he plans his course, but the Lord determines his steps. Having the faith and being open to listening to the Spirit to move and change things, and it coming from the most unexpected places.
Yes.
You really have to be in tune with the Spirit. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever asked yourself, how can I grow my region or church at a respectable amount, whatever that means, with a large adult family ministry, married family ministry with little staff? Has anyone ever asked that question?
Several times.
Okay, we're going to be addressing that because that is the $1 million question right now. Because our churches are aging. And it's become more complex. And we don't have as much money or much staff possibly. Have you ever thought there's so many needs, issues, meetings, things to do, expectations? I barely have time to focus on myself and my family, let alone time to focus on studying the Bible with people.
Right.
I wish I just had the horses in my ministry to help me.
All right. Yeah.
I'm going to be using horses today. Okay? Do you like horses? Well, get ready. Because we need, help me carry this load that we have as church leaders. So today, we hope to take you from leading your ministry and feeling like this.
What?
Okay, that's you and your spouse or your leader, the two horses there. You ever felt like that? I won't say that's Sam or Doug at the top. This is what we can feel like in the ministry. So we want to take you from feeling like that to this.
Oh, all right.
I even like what they're pulling there too, But seriously, guys, you got to believe. And we made some changes because I was those two horses last year.
Wow.
I was feeling it, trying to figure out how do we build a ministry that can thrive. So that's what we're going to be sharing here today. One thing we got to do though is we got to get some of the old strategy out and get in with the new. Things we've said, thought, done, or maybe you're still doing. Have you ever said this? I'm the leader and everything flows through me. You may not say it, but that may be the way it does function. Okay? I don't think any of us want to say that now. But if that's what's happening, it's not good. You got to get rid of that. I tell everyone what to do and they listen. I have 4 children and now all married. I found that does not work. But anyway, if we just had more staff, we could grow.
Wow. Yeah.
That's philosophy we had in the ICOC. I mean, big time. If I preach stronger, they'll repent and ... Just preach stronger.
Right.
That ain't going to work. If I had better people, then we could do... you're always, looking at other people's ministries going, oh man, I wish I... it's just not like the old days when we used to grow. You got to change that. Okay, get that thinking out here. So here's what we're going to cover. I think have a leadership team or base that you can grow on.
Amen.
The bigger your base, the higher you can go. Have a plan that enables you to grow. And then have a Jesus-like focus on the hearts. All right, so that's what we're going to be talking about. The Northeast region, 285 members that we've led. Well, 282 when we started the year. There's the breakout. 22 teens and college students with 3 interns we started the year. And then 260 adults with us as staff. That's the staff. Right there, I'm already overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Did you relate?
Yeah.
Am I making sense here?
Yeah.
So the plans we've developed over the last 3 years have evolved though. And as we wrestle with what to do and what is working, it's been interesting to watch how God takes our plans and He shapes them over time and can make them better. We can't grow our ministry using old principles, and we've got to start getting into some strategic thinking. And that's what happened. Identify the problems and then work from there. I think one of the things with adult ministry is we have a lot of talented people who have been disciples 20, 30 years. A lot of experience, former ministry people. And you know what they feel like? That slide's not there. I'll get to it. Let's go to that first point. Have a leadership base. Here's our leadership team in the Northeast region. And what's happened. We've developed what I've heard is a lot of the leadership teams are just the evangelist, wife, and maybe 2 elders. 6 total. How many of you have 6 or less on your leadership team? Just curious. Anybody? Okay. Does anybody have 15? Here's a couple. Okay. We're at 15. And you go, what is that? Okay, well, there's most of them. We have 3 interns, and then the rest are adults. Here's what happened. This is how we got this leadership team. Let me tell you about how it evolved. One of my most opinionated members, a former full-time ministry person, he was my most critical voice. He always would tell me what nobody else would say. And he was the guy that he would always have gems in the things he would tell me. And one of the things he said when we started this ministry 3 years ago was, he said, you need to get grassroots leaders, family group leaders in the leadership team to give you a perspective of what the people think and feel.
Yes.
And I went, that's right. So what happened as a result is, I went to my elders. I have 2 elders. They're not full-time. They're in this picture, Whittier and Schnell. And we came up with a plan where Wyndham came out and spoke and talked about the different C's, competence, character, to the members, and we actually incorporated the members in them recommending people, and by doing that, it also involved the members in creating this leadership team, because it was a new region. What that immediately did was it built trust. Okay? We did tell them, though, that the elders and us would make the final selection on who would be a part of the leadership team, because it was the first time we were creating one. What happened was amazing, because, when you do that, it not only builds trust in the leaders. The three things that happened was the people we chose immediately were more trusting, and then they became eager to serve. So it increased our base and their heart. They went from just family group leaders to now being a part of the leadership and the direction of the region. The next thing was their confidence. That was the most amazing thing, how it empowered them. And how now they just felt like they truly were, important. And it's amazing how that many of us have been asked to be, I hate to use the term, we've moved up. Because that's what you think in your mind, and then your importance goes up.
Yeah.
It's just a sad reality.
Yeah.
But we got to do it with our people.
Yeah.
And then the crazy thing, when we announced the people that were selected, the entire region cheered.
Amen.
That was the wild part. And you know why? I think because they thought they could have more confidence in the leadership, because the guy that was critical, he said, it looks too much like a good old boys club, making the decisions. We don't know how our people look at our leadership many times. I'm going to talk about this guy in a little bit, because he used to be not only critical, he could be brutally honest. And this guy has changed tremendously. So having a bigger leadership team can be to your advantage. I'm going to get into this. But, one of the things you got to do is, when you include your leadership team in the decision-making process, it is amazing to watch the difference it makes, not only in them, but in the decisions you end up making, and the plans. I'm going to talk about that here. Well, let me just tell you what we do. And I got to hold up Wyndham and Jeannie, because we were part of what was called the Northern Worship Center. And we used to have a meeting the third Thursday of every month. We'd come for 1 hour for a dinner. And what I do with mine is I cook the meat, everyone brings the sides, we have a meal for 1 hour, great fellowship. It's amazing to see just the way that builds family, celebrating birthdays, etc. You want to build trust with that. But then, you not only build family, but you want to build value. And you know what builds value in people is their voice being heard.
Yes.
Everybody wants their voice to be heard. Because, we want our voice to be heard. We feel things. And, it's a lot of times it can be difficult to feel like the person above you is listening. Well, if you remove the above you and it's us, you with me here? It's no longer up, it's just us. It's equal ground. That's when you can really get a lot done. So let's talk a little bit here about what this means, because when I learned, I can't come in with ideas and tell them, hey, I have this idea I want to do. It's a little thing, but it's a huge thing. Instead, I've got to come in and say, hey, I have this idea, and now it's to the point where we have an agenda before we have our meeting. The agenda, I have a brother he is over risk management for Mass General Hospital with drug distribution.
Wow. That's heavy.
He is all over every statistic. He has done more for us to be organized, but he's also uptight at times. I was trying to think of a nice way to say it. You all were thinking of another term, and I wasn't going to use it. But no, seriously, this guy has been such a gift. You need an organized person. He'll send out the agenda, but a little thing we do, it goes out before the meeting, and we ask, is there anything you want to add to it? And in our agenda, we talk about small rocks and big rocks. Small rocks are the calendar things, whatever's little things that you're doing, month to month. But then we have time where we do big rocks, where it requires more discussion and more analytical thinking about, different things. And if you don't allow for that kind of time to do it, it's like, you're always trying to catch up.
Right.
And you're living in the immediate and never really get a big picture.
That's right.
So, November 19th, if that's a Saturday, we've got 4 hours. We're doing our fall evaluation of 2016 so that we can work on big rocks.
Yeah.
But the cool thing is to see their voices come in on all this, because now, whatever anyone has an idea, it's got to be put to the group. But I love this process. Think about this. An idea. Is it up there on the screen? Develop the idea. Okay? You present an idea, and then if it's, everybody likes it, then guess what? We start to develop it together. And then, you shape the idea, which makes it even better. Why? You have blinders up.
That's right.
You don't see everything.
Right.
I have learned that, and I value their input on ideas. They only make it better. The beauty is if someone is you ever had someone that's, Debbie Downer? The group will correct them. That's what happens. But then once the idea is approved, they own the idea. You want them owning it, not just you.
That's right.
And if they own it, now guess what? They become a part of it.
Yes.
And executing the idea. That's the decision. And what I love is we've done a lot of things where now they're leading it.
Yes.
I'm not leading it. They're leading it. This making sense?
Yes.
So what's beautiful about it now, it's no longer the Rogers and the elders leading the region, it's the Northeast leadership team.
Yeah, right.
And when problems come up, I love to defer to the leadership team.
Yes.
I just had it recently happen, and a sister wanted to do something. I said, I'm sorry, you can't do that. Send me an email of the proposal, and I'll present it to the leadership team, and I'll let you know what they decide. That felt so good.
Yes.
But this is really a powerful principle that leads me to unity. It has to be forged. I appreciate the brothers talking about unity. I love golf. And, the most expensive golf clubs are forged irons. Okay? And, you can look up what forged, when they melt it down, what all that means. But bottom line, it takes more time. It also will take more heat.
Yeah.
And, it's, as they said this morning, it's not agreeing with each other. But, guys, if you're going to invest, it took us 1.5 years out of the last 3 years to get unified. I had to separate one of my elders and one of these brothers, almost physically had to separate in one meeting.
Wow.
We have some strong personalities. Great guys.
Right.
But we had to have the second meeting where it was a repentance and an apology. I had to meet with our interns just to go, are you okay? I kid you not. And I stayed very calm. If you know me, I'm not a calm person.
No.
And I sat there at times going, all right, what would Wyndham do? He'd say nothing right now, But no, I stayed calm, and it really worked out great, because what happened is, and this is where unity, I want to say this, unity will have conflict.
Yeah.
Conflict's good.
Conflict is good, yeah.
But it's only good if it goes full circle.
Right.
Yeah.
And you end up unified, meaning your hearts are knit together. I was sitting 2 months ago. I was standing, in my kitchen looking at the dining room table. And these two brothers were laughing, sitting next to each other as they were eating. And I just thought to myself, that's God.
Yes.
These guys are best friends now.
Wow.
Amen.
But so different.
Yes.
So different. And strong personalities, I love them. But, I got to say this. Communication. You can't have enough of it.
Right.
What messes up marriages what messes up leadership, what messes up anything, a lot of times, is just poor communication.
Yeah.
And being committed to one another. You know, this one brother, he was my wild, opinionated. You know, one horse can mess up a whole bunch of horses. You have people like this? I got news for you. They may be some of your best people. They'll test you. You got to get more spiritual to handle them. But if you can reach them and get them to grow and become spiritual, they will be some of your most powerful leaders. This guy, I mean, it was hard to sit with him. He was toxic. Seriously. Because of Wyndham, because I talked to Wyndham, and Wyndham, I would go, please, Wyndham, stop telling me just to get with him. Because I get with him, and it was pain. It was like a root canal. But for 3 years, every 3 weeks, I get with him at 7 a.m. for 3 years.
Wow.
Yeah. Come on, Jerry.
He was put on our leadership team. He was one of the guys that was almost had to separate. He is my most trusted. I value his opinion. He is the one that has led our region back evangelistically.
Amen.
He was a ministry person. He was in full-time ministry many years ago. Last week, Chip Mitchell came back into town. Chip used to lead the region up there years ago. And Chip was in town, and Chip asked him, so how's it going? And he goes, it's going great. He told me this. He said, I told Chip, it's going great. He said, we're no longer fighting the wrong battles, we're fighting the right battles in the body and for the lost. And I was like, I mean, and here we are doing this. I was like, please, come with me and say, you know. But anyway, let's move on.
Great.
Let me say this. The women's voice in the group. You've got to value the women. I wish Maria were here. She would speak. You know what? The women's ministry is over half. I know this. When I have great ideas and I tell my wife and she says, that's not a great idea, and then I don't do it. I mean, she has changed many things for me. We need the women in our leadership team. We need them to feel like they're valued and their voice matters and you respect when they speak up.
Amen.
If you know me, I like to talk. I've had to learn to listen. Why are you laughing, Mike Lamb? I don't like you. But I've had to learn to listen. And I'll tell you, I've got some amazing women in our group. And there's a couple, one of them's very timid, and now she's speaking up freely. It's so awesome to watch. So with that, we're going to move on here, okay?
Come on, Jimmy.
Here's where that's the slide I was looking for. Let me say this. Some of you, I had a brother recently tell me, well, I don't have the horses you have. And I didn't know how to, at first when I heard that, because my horses used to look like this. Those people that have been, 20, 30 years and they're not leading and they become your people that, they're not using their gifts. They can get negative. They can get critical. But here's the scary part. You don't have any vision for them anymore.
Wow. Good point.
Because of the way they're acting.
Right.
So what you need to do is reassess your inventory. Seriously. Meaning the people you have, and now start getting a vision for some of the people. I don't know how that slide got there, but we'll keep moving on. Have a plan that enables you to grow. This is big. I love this. The Amish, they're pretty amazing people. When they want to do something, they come together and they knock it out. I mean, that's a lot cheaper than hiring a contractor too. But anyway, Acts 6. We all know this passage, but do we really take it to heart? Well, I had to. So the 12 gathered all the disciples together because, the Grecian widow Jews, they were being overlooked. And so, what happened was they weren't out there preaching the word. Last year we had a horrible year in the Northeast. We grew by 4. Yeah. At the end of the year, I said, I had all my reasons too. Do you want to hear them? No. I wasn't going to tell you, but I got them. And they're really, they're perfect too. The point is, I had to get a conviction this has to change.
Right.
The excuse for my ministry not growing has to stop.
Right.
So the 12 gathered all the disciples together and said, it would not be right for us to neglect the ministry of the Word of God in order to be doing other things. This is not just for deacons.
Right. Okay.
We will turn this responsibility over to them, and we will give our attention to prayer and ministry of the Word.
Amen.
You got to figure out how to offload yourself so you can, like my third point, have a Jesus-like focus.
Right.
You got to get others involved to carry the load so you're not.
Right.
And in the married family ministry, with us, just us with 260, we had to do it.
Right.
So last year in the fall, as we were evaluating, I went to our evaluation meeting. The prior year, I had 2 guys do it. They put 100 things up on the wall. I was overwhelmed. Last year, I said, nope, I'm leading this meeting. And I said, I want one thing to be clear. Jimmy and Maria must get freed up to focus on the harvest, and the region needs to get more of a heart for seeking and saving the lost. Leadership team, they like to get into all kinds of things. But I said, this is one thing. And guess what? My most critical guy, who now was my champion of saving lost souls, he was right there in the meeting with me.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah, it was awesome to watch. But I said, whatever we have to do, we do today, we have to land so it enables us to get focused.
Yes.
And it changed the whole meeting. But one other sister said one other thing. And I'll never forget, I looked straight at her, she goes, discipling's not working in the region. And I went, you're right, it's not. In fact, Maria has this is how we had so many discipleship partners, Maria had always felt guilty. I somehow managed not to do that. If you know us, you'll know why. But that's a burden on me, watching her always feeling bad. So we repented as a leadership team, and we landed on some changes. And after evaluating last year, and here it is. Northeast region, 282 disciples. We ended. That's what we started with January 1st. There it is, us with 260, the interns. 25 family group leaders. Okay, that means 50. Are you with me here?
Yeah.
The conclusion, the harvest was not the Rogers focus, loving the lost wasn't in the region, and discipleship wasn't working. So we said, let's look at our structure. I had this one brother, for months, he kept saying, we need to change the structure. We need to change the structure. He said it so much. When we got to this meeting, I finally listened. And we changed, here's the broken structure we figured out. This is our meeting structure. Rogers and the 2 elders, we met once a month. Then we meet with our leadership team that I just showed you once a month. And then we have once a month a meeting of 25, 50 people. Once a month, a family group leader meeting.
Right.
And I started to ask family group leaders, what do you think about those meetings? And they go, yeah, they're okay. They're good.
Right.
But they're so general.
Yeah. Exactly.
How many of you have family group leader meetings once a month? I'm just kind of curious. That was me doing it.
Yeah.
And so we had to go, okay, this is not really effective. It's not meeting needs. And discipleship's broken. So what the leadership team, through discussion, we formulated is what we wanted the word ministry and we wanted the word discipleship used, because we want them focused on the ministry and we want them focused on discipling.
Right.
And we created now, we still have us with the elders, the leadership team, but now we have 5 ministry discipleship groups that meet once a month for 2 hours. These things have radically changed our entire region. Because now they're in a small group, and we focus on 4 things in these groups. Prayer. We coined the phrase, you say discipleship, it means many things to different people. And my wife is the one that used this, and if you know my wife, she is very heartsy. And she said it means getting heart to heart. What it has done, it is basically like oxygen in our blood. It has brought life back to 25 family group leaders. Because now they're getting their needs met.
Right.
Because they're in a group where they get heart to heart. So like the first one, let me just give you an example. We all started off, and we had to choose the ministry D group leaders. And we presented our vision day with all the family group leaders. And I went up to one of the family group leaders after I told him about this plan. I said, what do you think? He goes, you just took the dis out of dysfunction. It is amazing to watch, because when we did the first one, I just sent out a question to ask. What do you want us to pray for you personally? And then what do you want us to pray for you for your family group, your ministry? Well, they did the first one, and what do you think they talked about? Their kids, the people in their ministry that maybe are ill, heavy stuff. Then the second one, and then that was the beginning of the year. Now it's at a point where these groups are just like our leadership team groups. You with me here? So, like in my group, a brother brings up something that he wants help with, and I just kind of sit back, and then there they go to help. Now they're helping one another.
Amen.
You with me here?
Yes.
Man, I left something in my briefcase over there. It's a letter. Can you get it for me? I'm going to read a letter from one of the sisters that describes what it's done for her. But you know, and the other thing, Mike, prior to that, we were... The old days, we took stats. Remember that? In Boston, we even perfected it. We called it a red book. And if you say red book now, people will actually start convulsing in Boston. I'm serious. It brings up some horrible feelings. Every Sunday, sending in your stats. And there were so many stats. Are you with me here?
Yes.
Well, we overreacted because you ready for this? I've been back in Boston since 2009. We don't take stats because nobody's taking stats anymore. Nobody's asking me for numbers. So with the leadership team, I said, but it's an overreaction, because how can you move the ministry without any information? So what we came up with was this sheet. I actually don't even have one. That is our harvest report sheet. That, sometimes we don't meet all together. We'll meet in family groups for midweek. So we just want to know what the plan they have. The studies they have. You with me here? That are going on. Any restorations. Any visitors they have coming. It's so cool because now I can see these people when I meet them in the fellowship after preaching. Oh, yeah. I know them. How's it going? And then shepherding needs. You need to know how people are doing spiritually. Before this, we had no way of gathering any information and knowing. It has done so much for the region because the elders and us, we get these. It's also good for them to, guess what? Fill it out. Because it makes them think about it. And but prayer. I remember the first time we had one of our ministry D groups. I came upstairs where the women were. We were done. They were huddled in a little circle. They were crying and praying, and tissues were everywhere.
Right. That sounds right.
And I went, "This is awesome." Excuse me. Because this sister, she wrote it in such a way that if I can find it, here it is. I see our Ministry D group as one of my favorite times during the month to get together with Maria and the other sisters that help lead small groups. I don't put our Ministry D group times on my calendar thinking of it as another meeting or appointment time. It's truly a time I look forward to, knowing that despite how I walk through your front door, I know I will leave totally encouraged and refreshed after spending 2 intimate hours with friends and not only enjoying refreshments and fellowship, but then being able to share my heart with sisters who are becoming some of my dearest friends because of this group. Maria always has some very encouraging scriptures to share with us, which we're able to personalize and discuss. We close our time together with each other, being able to pray. Our ministry D group has grown very close through our shared love to want to please God and serve those in our family groups, by being vulnerable as well as through our times of laughter and quite frequent tears. This seems more like a time devoted to meeting our needs, although we are free to get input concerning others in our group, Bible studies, etc. I know this is not only the time we can receive input from them that helps, support, and encouragement is always available. My love and gratitude to you both. So, this is her heart. And we've been doing it we'll have one next week. So we've had roughly 8 or 9 of them. We do them every month. We set it up before we leave. By the way, we split up immediately, men and women. One thing I know is the women can do a good job of taking care of themselves. I had one of my ministry D group leaders. He felt like he needed to lead it, at first for a while, and we had to talk. His wife had to have him talk with us because she was talking to Maria and realized they didn't have the time. So, anyway, let's move on here. Let me say this on the shepherding side, because I got to move quickly. You want to make sure that you're meeting. We've said spiritual, emotional, or physical needs. We got a lot of people going through health struggles.
Yes.
You want to know all those areas. What we've taught our family group leaders is you're the first line of shepherding. But if it gets too much for you, we're here to help you. Are you with me here?
Right.
All right. And then in closing here, have a Jesus-like focus on the harvest. All right. So what happened is we set these groups up, and guess what? It freed Jimmy and Maria up. But now we're able to really help our family group leaders. We started the year off with this scripture as our theme, Matthew 9, and we talked about having the kind of heart Jesus had for the lost, compassion. I think our people we're all so caught up in our own world that we don't see people hurting.
Yeah.
The harvest is plentiful if we just open up. We have said this in so many ways you can say it.
Yeah, right.
And getting people up sharing how their life was messed up. I mean, you can do it in so many creative ways. But the bottom line is, we've taught our family group leaders with the harvest, you need to know the harvest. Okay? That's important. All right? Who's visiting, who's studying, you need to know. Okay? In the past, we didn't do that. You need to work the harvest. Okay? That means moving hearts. And that happens in many ways I don't have time to get into. And then you need to grow the harvest. And that means getting into studies. And we've really focused on our family group leaders with this and been. 1 Corinthians 3, I remind them, you're nothing. So the pressure's off.
Yeah.
Let me just remind you, you're nothing.
Yeah.
God makes it grow. So have faith.
Yeah.
Just start scattering the seed. And, it's amazing to see. But, the biggest conviction, I'm going to say this. Stop making excuses for not growing.
Right.
I had to do it last fall. And I've decided I'm going to become laser focused this year. And I was talking to one brother and I said something. I went, ooh, that's good. And this is what I said. I said, I have many responsibilities, but my focus is to grow the Northeast region.
Right.
And this is a list of some of the things I got to get with elders, the leadership team, ministry D group leaders, family group leaders, content team meeting. That's the group that we organize our Sunday themes, and we actually review sermons. That's a lot of fun. Shepherding needs, special needs, illness. We've had the most deaths in the church. Sermons, preparing midweek classes, staff meetings, regional leader meetings.
Right.
Am I the only one that goes to a lot of meetings? But you know what? It's Satan wants to reduce you to a ministry manager and not a minister of the gospel of Jesus Christ. Discipling relationships, we get with our elders, we get with the Shaws, we get with Doug, Joyce there. We disciple the Petruzzi's up in Portland. We have the Northern New England D group. I got finance meetings. I got the Hope Golf Classic. I love that one. And marriage retreat. I got more I can give you. But you know what? They're just responsibility. It's not my focus. So, close out here. Our goal was to, I told Doug, I said, what do you think is goal? To add 20 souls for the year. Baptize or restore. He goes, I think that's good. I thought 2 a month, and you take August and December off. August is vacation.
Right.
And December is the holidays. Here's what's happened so far. It's been wild. All right, January, February, March, April, May, June. We're right on track there. You see that?
Yeah.
If you can do the math. It's not higher math. July. Yeah. August, my daughter gets married in South Carolina. We're gone for 2 weeks.
Congratulations.
Yeah. And then my son got married a week ago Saturday.
Awesome.
So it is finished.
Yeah.
All 4 are married. And August, we go away for 2 weeks. We come back, I kid you not, 5 people get baptized. The 5th one on the day we got back. You know what that said to me is? It's now in the heart of the region. It's working.
Right.
But it takes time.
That's right.
A lot of hard work. I love Larry Reed used the phrase, God's just showing off.
Yeah.
25 souls have been added already. Isn't that amazing? And you can clap for God because I'm telling you. But closing out, Javier can come up. And you really do need to have faith. God can do more than you can ask or imagine if you just get focused and have some plans you devote to Him. Amen?
Amen.
All right.
So you know that comment about, I don't have the horses.
Yeah.
You have more staff, more people. That'd be me. Maybe you can relate to that feeling every so often of looking at things very humanistically instead of from God's perspective. Spanish region right now is 378 people. Disciples of Christ, 2 sectors. We have 4.5 staff. Over 40 Bible talks. And what's amazing is to see the last 8 weeks we've baptized and restored 10 people. Go God.
Yes.
Go God when you focus.
Yes.
And my biggest comment here is our eyes are so important.
Yep.
And the way we look at things matters so much.
Yep.
The spirit and the attitude with which we look at things is so vital. I've gotten with Jimmy a few times about this. Honestly, the first time it was like, I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. And it was only after a couple of times that I started understanding, okay, there's a whole process to be implemented here.
Yeah.
And I want to encourage you that really, whatever you're grasping today, grab one piece of this process. That's where we're at. We have a core group leadership that is 9 people, and it's our elders, our staff, and our basically that right now. And it really is a great group. We are talking about growing it and changing it, but we want to do so in a very careful way. Because you don't want to just go, okay, they did it, we did it, we're going to do it, and put the wrong people in that process. I think we have to trust God. We've got to believe in what our people are going to provide. But, there are certain aspects of the ministry that are going well. I want to be careful in that process. It is a process. And, for me, the first process was transforming my attitude about how do I look at scriptures and how do I look at my people. 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 2. You know it. I know it. It's a big conviction of ours. My son, be strong in the grace that I in Christ Jesus. And then the things you've heard me say in the presence of many witnesses, entrust to reliable people who will also be qualified to teach others.
Yes.
That's a huge part of a conviction we have in the discipleship movement, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But honestly, for me, it's a tendency to look at, this is how I get things done.
Come on.
Not how I empower people.
Come on, bro.
I love the conversations I've had with a few of the region leaders in helping me transform my attitude. Because if I look at my region and I say I don't have the horses, then it's an issue in me. And it's an issue of, am I looking to accomplish things through them? Or am I here to empower people for them to be what God wants them to be? Honestly, for me, that's like click!
Yeah.
That's right.
I mean, my mind thinks very corporately. I was trained from childhood to be very corporately. So I can think delegation, I can think you take care of this, you take care of this, you take care of this, I accomplish things through you.
Right.
But to see that my role as a minister really is a lot more to empower people, well, that's radically different. Then if I look at my people and I look at the situation where each person is at right now, my role is to empower them, to help them be what God wants them to be, and to fulfill their part on this team.
Amen.
You know a discipleship tree. I'm looking at it with a different spirit. We did have the monthly meeting with the leaders, and honestly, that didn't accomplish much. The shift right now is I get with the core group first, then I get with the house church leaders, and I'm now training the house church leaders by a few of us meeting with house church leaders and Bible talk leaders. And then those Bible talk leaders meeting with their Bible talks. But I want to ask you to notice I put it sideways instead of up and down. Because I think we need to look at it as this is a two-way relationship. And the more we can make it a two-way relationship, they will be empowerment training times instead of delegation times. My mindset is very much down delegation times. And so I would look at a few of my house church leaders and go, they're great Bible talk leaders, but they can't lead a house church. And that would be self-fulfilling, because they would grow a Bible talk. But then the Bible talks that they oversaw, nothing would happen. Why? Partially because that's how I structured it, but partially because they've not been trained to be empowered to become what they need to be. And so right now, our process is to train the house church leaders on how to lead a house church, how to empower the Bible talks. In the same way, for the Bible talk leaders to be trained on how to empower their people as well. In addition to this, to me, it's vital that we look at our attitude. And I'll give you two things that I've been chewing on quite a bit myself.
Come on, bro.
What do I see as the attitude of the hour? And I got this from those of us that were at the delegates meeting. You've heard me say it because it really stuck with me. It was amazing to be at the delegates meeting and to see the churches that were growing the most speak. In the past, those leaders would speak about their growth, and you'd feel very humbled. This was a 180. Randy McKean oversaw this. And this is the basic spirit. The attitude was, clothe yourselves with humility towards one another. Because God opposes the proud, but shows favor to the humble. Humble yourselves, therefore, under God's mighty hand, that He may lift you up in due time. And so the three phrases I've gone on saying, and God's really working with, are, I need help.
Right.
I want help. Will you help me? There's a big difference between just admitting, I need help. But you know, we can admit, I need help, and nothing happens. People do not connect with us. People don't tell us really what they know they could tell us. I want help. Oh, really? You're interested? But I've come to a conviction that only when I say, will you help me, people go, oh, you really do want my input. I've loved what our region leader gatherings have become in Boston. We have a chance where each region presents their region. And I've been part of those in the past in different churches. And at times they could have been bragging sessions. And yeah, you'd admit a few things you needed to change, and that was about it. And everybody would present their own, and you'd kind of protect your guard, and that's about all you'd share. And maybe say one or two things about each other. We started down that road, but it was amazing to see, honestly, I had the joy of being the guinea pig. We had done these a few, and I said this phrase. I presented the region, and I know how to present things. But then I said, I really need help. I really want help. Will you help me? Because the reality of our region is it baptizes, but it's got a follow-away rate that's pretty significant. And so as I looked over the last few years, it hasn't grown. And it was amazing to see in that meeting the honest truth of brothers who know how to lead ministry, who know how to observe and how, we all do about one another. But a lot of times I think we guard and we just say, well, I'm not really going to say much.
Yeah.
But boy, that one just opened it up. And the floodgates came in. You know what? I walked out of that. It was painful, to be honest. That night I went home and I had to go cry and etc. But then by the next day my mind was clear because I felt like, okay, I got help. Now I know where to go. What a different spirit when you feel like, okay, I got it. I understand something that I can go and change. It changes radically your attitude about building the plan for next year. More than just putting a nice plan and a nice strategy and nice words. It's really practical in terms of how is this really going to change. But I think it only comes when we really have the willing attitude to go, I really need help. I want help. Will you help me? I think as a result, a few of our conversations have been radically different. When I said to Jimmy, well, I don't have the horses. The next day he came back and he said, you know that comment you made? And we addressed it. But it was very different from just, well, you said it, that's about it. We'll leave you alone with it.
Right.
And so the last thing I want to share with you is just the spirit.
That's great.
Amen.
The spirit of the hour.
Amen. Come on now.
You and I give our people every week stuff. As we plan on next year, you're going to give your people stuff. What are you going to give them? Water's gold. This is a mixture of, I don't know what.
I ain't drinking it.
It's vital that you and I give our people God's Spirit.
Yes.
God's Spirit is full of power, full of love, and full of self-control. And I think when we do, we empower them to become so much more.
Yes.
Thanks, Jimmy.
Javier, that whole phrase, let me say this, a couple of things I learned, because you can learn from anyone. Last year, Mike Lamb, I got with him in the fall and asked, because he had a great year last year, and I said, tell me what you're doing. He's the one that told me about his groups that led us to the ministry discipleship groups. And it's funny, so you take an idea, then you got to apply it to your situation. You got to spit out the bones and find the meat. But let me say this, I need help, I want help, will you help me? You hear that phrase and a lot of times you think that means to people, peers or people above me. You really need to ask that question to your people. That might be the most powerful application. Because they know you better than anyone.
Sure.
Seriously. And that's the one. You need to do it with all. But a lot of times we don't think to do it with our own people. So to close out, I hope this has been helpful. Any questions? I will gladly email the PowerPoint and the notes too, so that you can have them. Because I had the greatest time with Jeff when our New England group got together. And the Sackingers, I love them. He's so organized. The guy. I mean, I was getting a lot from him. I then shared this with him, and I said, let me just send you everything. I actually sent it to Nietzsche because we got with them in St. Louis. Because figuring it out is all, to me, that's the fun part. So, all right, questions, quick. Yeah.
2 questions. This is awesome. Thank you very much. So helpful for us. I was wondering, do you ever meet with all of the family group leaders together?
3 times this year.
3 times a year. Great. And also, with you and Maria, are you meeting with each of those ministry groups at some point?
All but one are in our leadership team.
So you meet...
The ministry discipleship group leaders, they're all in that leadership team except one couple. And that's actually going to change the start of the year.
So you meet with your...
Ministry disciple.
Month, so you're meeting with all...
Yes. Yeah. And let me say this, with one of the things with family group leaders, they're so general, and I got to hold up the shops. They are like the experts on small group leader training, and they're gifted, and they challenged the prior year, last year, the beginning of 2015, which I didn't take it to heart. I didn't. I was, but I won't get into that. And but he kept beating that drum of training your small group leaders, figuring out. Our people said those meetings are just too general. You can't, you really can't get in the heart. And to us, we felt like we accomplished what they were talking about by having these times where it's smaller, more intimate, and it has all those 4 ingredients. Okay? Yeah.
The 25 groups that you have, what's the size? How many?
The family groups?
Yeah,
they vary. I mean, because of age, they vary in size. We're in the process, I would say probably anywhere from 8 to as high as 15. And the 15 are older people. Like, we have one that technically on paper is like 22, but they have a lot of shut-ins. And what we've done is we've identified some of the family groups are more in a maintenance mode. They're not equipped to really be, but last year they actually have grown.
Oh, man.
But we're trying to change that, and because they have so many different needs going on. But what Mark Schnell has gotten us to get more geographic in our family groups, and that's a process.
Yes.
And as we have a meeting next Sunday with a portion of our region, because it is a massive geographic area, okay, the northeast of Boston. One of our sections, we've got to get more geographic, so we're going to meet together and just have 2 hours of putting pen names to paper and figuring it out. And the exciting thing is it brings about change. Yeah, Sam.
Do you have a campus ministry, and if not, where do most of your baptisms come from?
We only have one campus and one teen out of those 25 this year.
Yeah.
And maybe a few singles. The rest have all been married families.
Got it.
Yeah.
Probably should know this from our conversation, but so a month for the average family group, what does that look like in terms of their schedule?
All right, in the January, February, March, it's the first Wednesday we meet all together. Then they're in family group with the good old winter. And, we give them the freedom to have how they can function because they're all different.
Right.
But they'll have a Bible talk in there. They can do whatever they want, and we'll do those in the ministry D groups. Going over and helping with that. January, February, March, April, May, June. We have every other week, and we have classes all together. We felt like that brought continuity. The Northwest did that. They do it the whole year. Our group chose not to. We do 7 weeks. In those, we'll have a Bible class like right now. And then in the fall, July, August, we go back to first Wednesday, family group the rest of the month because it's summer, have fun, have cookouts. And then the fall, it's every other week, September, October, November. And in those classes, in the spring and the fall, we'll do a Bible-based class. So right now, we have Revelation, the book of Revelation. And then we have a marriage class going on. Typically, we'll have 3 classes. This time, we went with 2. But you have a Bible class and a practical. Yeah.
Hold up. When you say you're having classes, is this midweek?
Midweek, come together, everybody. It's 7:30. We start in the class. You're in the room.
And family group meets when?
On the other week.
What's every other week?
So we're doing classes every other week, and on the off week, they have family groups.
Yes.
So your family group meets once a week? Once?
They're either going to be, they'll meet twice in the month, and then they'll come for midweeks. All right? When we have classes, it's every other week. They meet in a family group on the other week, and then we're all together.
Right.
What we found, if you have too many just family groups, you lose continuity. And let me tell you, our midweeks, the attendance has just gone through the roof. I mean, everybody's there that can make it. Yeah.
What kind of evangelistic activities have you had for married couples?
We do a marriage retreat once a year in March, and then like this class we're doing, or the family groups will do. We bought the Love and Respect series, the videos, and you can just put them in, you get the workbooks. That's something we've done. I mean, there's a lot of things you can do. And again, we try to give the family groups flexibility to function how is best for them.
Yeah, right.
But they got to be doing something. Yeah, well,
Is your Northeast leadership team composed exclusively of ministry discipleship group leaders? Or you have
No.
people that are not leading ministry groups?
Yeah, there's a couple of them in there that don't.
And are they an elder couple or?
One of my elder couples does not lead a ministry D group. Another couple doesn't lead one. Obviously, our interns don't. They focus on teaming campus.
But they're part of your Northeast leadership?
They are, of that 15.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you have those twice a month or once a month when you meet for meetings, do you do any separate women's and men's?
We do. With the we've done that with the classes. Because we're in a school, so we can do any configuration that we want, and that's one of the blessings of meeting there. So we can do men's, women's classes. We just happen to do this one. We do have, in our leadership team, we have a teacher rep. So we have a teaching team. We've got a lot of different teams. This is the other beauty of the leadership team. They've taken on a lot of different things, like the In Motion ministry. We just had Tim Summerlin, and I had 2 guys that said, "Can we start that in the region?" I was like, "Go for it." One of them's a psychologist, so he's perfect for it. But the more you can delegate to others, I love it when I can tell people, "I don't know, go see so-and-so." I love it when I can tell someone that, because I'm not over it. Did that answer your question? Yeah? Okay.
So when the family groups meet on Wednesday night that's not all together, is that a midweek or is that an evangelistic Bible discussion, or do they have separate evangelistic Bible discussions?
Some do. Some have another one. They'll have another evangelist, and some don't. But we want them to have at least one midweek meeting, and some of them make that their Bible talk every other week. And now remember, January, February, March, it's 3 in a month. And they may do that, or they may have one a month where they work for it, and because they found that some of them, they didn't have any visitors, so they're going, so why have a Bible talk if you don't have any visitors? And I always tell them, if it's not working, hit the brakes. Stop doing something if it's not working, and figure out what you can do to make it effective. And it's crazy you have to say these things, but yeah.
So Jimmy, how did you set up the small groups? Was it based on kids' age? Was it based on life statuses? Were there empty nester groups? Were there?
When you say, you mean the family groups or the? Oh, like I said, it is a process. So this elder of mine, he is phenomenal. I value these 2. They are amazing. They are workhorses. They are so unique. And they can be a little cut and dry. And their people have kind of adopted to them. So when they talk about something, they'll work and work and work until everybody gets on board. So they were just geographic. They're in the upper area. So, but then he started preaching this to everyone else. So it was a process of us buying into it.
Yes.
Because not everybody wants to switch.
Right.
And so there's no exact science to that. That's what we're learning. And you just got to, but we did identify if you can get it more geographic, if you can get it smaller.
Yes.
All right, I had one family group leader. He split this thing into 3 Bible talks. So in essence, he's a house church. They are the slowest speaking, they're not dynamic. They are just so loving and nurturing, and the thing keeps growing. The Spirit's in them, I guess. I mean, they're amazing. And they now have 3 Bibles. They have an older women. They split the married one into 2, but they want to all stay together. And you know what? I go, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. They call themselves one family group, but they're 3 Bible talks. So I don't want to go and start saying this is how to do it. Really think out of the box. Be creative. I think sometimes we put boxes that limit people. Find out what's making them tick. You may think, oh, I want to get you from here to here, like my elder does. And he's had to learn, I can't do that. So there's wisdom in structure, there's wisdom in freedom. Okay? Anybody else? Okay, that's it. Let's say a prayer. Have a good lunch.
Thank you, Jimmy.
And I'll just send it out to the New England and the New York guys, and then they'll get it out. Amen? Let's pray.